You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Born Wild podcast. These are your hosts, Leah
and Sophia. Nina and Emma, we have no idea where they are. We hope they're sleeping.
The students are sleeping. Today, we have a really special, fun guest, Erica Davis. She is going to talk to us about elimination communication, which is something that clients of mine definitely ask about. And I've sort of seen it come and go as far as being a hot topic. But I'm really excited to have you. So welcome, Erica. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Do you want to just jump in and tell us a little bit about you and kind of connection to that is?
Yeah. So my name's Erica. Hello. I love/hate doing these like little intro bios, right? Because you have to be like, who am I today?
Brag about yourself, please.
Right. First and foremost, I'm a mother. A mother to my 2.5-year-old son, Buzz. I'm a wife. And my family and I have moved quite a bit. And we have got back to the States after like a decade overseas, and we're about to move again in about a month.
Where were you overseas?
We were in Australia for 2 years, and then before that we were in New Zealand. And really happy to be back here now, living with family now. And I guess I say that because my job and my titles have changed so much as we've moved around. But the ones that remain are mother, wife, and woman, and I'm always trying to become better versions of those. And how did I find elimination communication? I believe I heard Andrea Olson on the Free Birth Society podcast. She's kind of like the queen of all elimination communication, and I love her and I love all of her content, and but there's a lot of it. I found that there is a lot of it, and it can be a little overwhelming. So
I wonder if I should pause you and that you should tell the listeners what elimination communication is. Someone who's like,
what is it
talking about?
So what is elimination communication? It's quite a mouthful. We often say EC to make it easier. But it's a way to communicate with your child and to listen to their communication as to when they need to use the toilet, so that they are not going pee and poop in their diaper, which it's a really simple concept, but it's also very profound when you really embrace it and implement it into your life and your children's life. So,
and when you say children, and then you say like when they need to use the toilet, I'm thinking, and others might be thinking maybe 2 years old or something like that. Sure. But you're referring to like from womb.
So you can do this definitely from like day one, the day you give birth. But I do know families that have started around 2 years old, who, they've done the more traditional diaper route, and then they hear about elimination communication. And it, it can look a lot like potty training, but it's just done in a really respectful way where the lines of communication are open between you and your child. And there's an understanding and an acknowledgement that your baby or your child has the ability to hold it and does not want to sit in their excrement. So with that knowledge, then you start to communicate in kind of a different way. So I fell in love with it the first time I heard of the concept. I wasn't even pregnant yet. I was planning on it. Um, and I just thought it sounded amazing. So is that me dinging? I hope not.
I don't hear anything.
Maybe it is. Oh, you don't? That's probably me. Okay. I think I turned it off. Yeah. So I embraced it from birth, and I would say we've had great success with it. And really the only thing you need for success is kind of a commitment. And I know that before we started, you had mentioned that a lot of people feel overwhelmed with this idea that it's all or nothing, and it's definitely not. And I'd love to dispel that, because you can be committed to EC, but use it to the degree that works for your life. And that's what's most important, because we all have different family systems and jobs and whatever. And I really think that anyone can kind of make it work and embrace like one or two pieces that feels right for them.
Yeah. So what did it look like for you? Were you also diapering? And like at what points did you work on the elimination communication?
So I think, I'm glad you said that. There can be a misconception that you don't use diapers. And I know that like Andrea Olson often has the tagline of diaper free, and that can be a bit, there can be some misconception there, because you still use diapers, but diapers are the backup rather than the primary place to go to the bathroom. So, of course, this is going to depend on where you live, what the weather's like what your house is like, or do you have carpeted floors, or do you have hardwood floors? What are you like down for? But, most,
do you own?
yeah, like, are you comfortable with having a naked baby all the time? Some may say yes and no. I mean, when it was summertime and I lived in Australia, like we were very happy for baby to be naked, and we can respond to those cues. And, but like logistically, diapers make sense, and you certainly still use diapers in EC. So yeah, we use them, but we use them as the backup. And you start, you start listening to your baby's signals, the cues that they give you, and then.
Which would be what, for example?
Yeah, so all kids are different, but there's some like real obvious ones. Like when kids are going poop, it's very obvious, right? Like, right, like they get red faced, like their stomach starts to bear down, they may even make sounds. So that in EC we call, there's like easy catches. Catch meaning you got the pee or the poo in your chosen receptacle, as in not in the diaper. So an easy catch is poop, because you usually have time and it's very obvious.
Do you feel like it's still very obvious in the infant stage, when it's more like liquidy, or does the cue look different when they're younger and it's poop?
Yeah, their cues will like be constantly changing. And this is why I love EC, is because it's a constant feedback loop. You can't get like, yes, there's some consistency, but like children are developing and changing, and they're having these developmental cognitive leaps. They're able to move their body in new ways. So things are constantly going to be changing. But then that's for you to really connect deeply to your child and see the reflection of how your communication styles need to change. But a newborn baby, there's so much room or like variation in terms of how much they're going to poop. Like some newborns are going to poop 5 times a day. I know for some it'll be like once a week, right? So it's really going to depend on your own baby. And I think when they are really small, the cues can be more subtle, but I know that we're all on the same page of like, ideally baby is skin to skin with mom. Everyone's naked in bed and fully connected. So, I've found, and I would love to like actually get, look into this, but my child would never suckle and go pee or poo at the same time. So that meant if I was breastfeeding and he popped off the boob, or he would stop and just like look at me, like that was a cue, because I knew the latch was good. I knew flow was good. So it was often something else. And so it's hard to have like universal cues.
Yeah.
As they get older, there will be like, they'll like grab their crotch, or they'll like look down, and those things can be really obvious. But in the early stages, it's really for mama and baby to, I mean, they're already one, you know, so just fostering that connection and letting mama like really trust her instincts. But like also you probably will get peed and pooed on. Like that's just the reality of it. But you know, especially with a exclusively breastfed baby, like their pee and poo is so innocuous. Like it is you. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, if you had somebody reaching out to you who was like just beginning and is like, I'm not even sure what cues to look for, are there certain like quote unquote protocols that you might say like, oh, try when your baby first wakes up, or try, or like anything like that, where it's like,
so
if
I were going to teach EC to someone, I would tell them about these two concepts, and one of them are what I had kind of referred to before, the easy catches. So you just said one is when you wake up, transitions when you get in and out of the car seat, in and out of the stroller, in and out of the baby carrier, poops. And so like there are timings that you can really stick with. And I know for some families, that's all they do is they do the easy catches. Another one is at diaper change time. You offer the potty, or it's called a potty-tunity. But then the other way to do this, like the other concept, is called observation time. And this is when you preferably get baby naked or have them in really light clothing so that you can tell immediately that they've gone pee. And this is when you're really observing, as it would suggest the name, observation time. You're really just watching your baby and noticing what their individual cues are. So, you know, for some people, observation time, like having baby naked and spending an hour or so, that might not actually work for their lives. So then I would say just stick to the easy catches. Do it when you wake up, do it at diaper changes, do it when you get in and out of the car or go to the cafe, whatever. And then for some people like myself, I did both. I did observation time and the easy catches. And I do recommend observation time, like if you can make that work, because it's really precious time too that we don't often spend with our child. Like you have to put the phone away, you have to turn off the music, like there's no toys, like you're just there with your baby, which like sounds like a really like simple concept, but like that level of connection and like non-distraction is pretty rare.
Yeah. And when you say like when your baby wakes up to offer potty time, can you kind of describe like what that looks like? Like what are they doing? Are they holding their baby over the toilet or bowl? Are they giving their baby cues, or are they just like kind of waiting for a couple minutes?
So you can have sounds that go with your potty-tunity. So whenever I would hold Buzz, that's my son's name, in position to go pee, because usually they're going to go pee in the morning, we'd make a sound. So that became like the sound association. Some people like to do sign language. They incorporate that as well. I never did that, but I know you can. And then the
Could
position.
You show the listeners what that would look like? No.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, my husband loves doing, I mean, he still does it now, and our child is 2.5. He like makes the like poo sounds, and he's like, like I'm like, wow, what do you know? My husband loves to make poo sounds. Like,
and your son will too, I'm sure.
Oh, and he does now. Like he'll be like, Mama Bobo. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's great. Yeah, so the way that you hold your baby is essentially you're mimicking a deep squat, which is the optimal position, you know, physiologically for us to go to the bathroom. So you hold them behind the knees, and then you can hold them over the toilet. We often did it over the sink, you know, again, when they're exclusively breastfed, it's like, what are you down for? And in my sink, in my house, I was cool with that.
Yeah.
You can totally do this without any like things or supplies. Or of course, there's like accessories and things that you can buy, like the top hat potty and the mini potty. These are all made by Andrea Olson's brand. And those are really handy so that, like, you know, when you wake up and in your diaper changing station, you also have one of these potties. So it just becomes a part of your routine and what you do. And it's quite easy. I mean, you can also use like an empty ice cream container, you know, like you don't have to buy these things. And I really, Rochelle of Innate Traditions, mentioned, like, you don't need anything for this. And because of that, it's indigenous to us all. You know, and I love that. Like, it truly is indigenous to us all. Like, and then there's plenty of cultures that still do this, and there's not even a term for it, right? It's just called parenting. Like, they don't have like a little saying for it. So
it is the default. Yeah.
And even in America, it would have been like, disposables were invented in the early 60s. It's not that long ago.
Yeah, you know? I think I had heard about, I don't know where it was in the world, but more like a tribal community. And they had talked about, you know, EC as in, like, if the baby pooped and they didn't, like, quote unquote catch it, they called it like a miss for them, like that they missed the cue and they took it on themselves versus like their child had an accident, you know, the child's just doing what it needs to do and they missed the cue.
That's exactly right. And in that, you can release a lot of shame for your children, because I mean, how common is it that, like, you know, someone will change a diaper and they're like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Like, oh, you shit your pants. Like, and not that there's an intentional shaming behind it, but there's guilt and shame behind that. And, you know, our culture is so steeped in shame around going to the bathroom, which, you know, you can't eat and nourish yourself without then eliminating. You know, they are part of the same cycle. And as mothers, we put a lot of beautiful focus on nourishing our babies and on breastfeeding. And then there's kind of this empty, like, on the flip side of it, well, then how are we still like nourishing our child beyond like a physical way, but on a mental and spiritual way of then releasing that without shame and knowing that they're like vital to us. So, and everyone does it. So
yeah. I did EC with my son, who actually had a colostomy bag for a year. So we were not catching poops, but we were catching peas. Yeah. And it was so neat to see him go. And we had, one of the little top hats. And my thought was that we would continue, like, after he had his reversal and, you know, he was pooping in diapers. But it got complicated. He ended up having heart surgery and we couldn't like hold him in certain ways, like under the arms. And we just had to like release it. But if I ever had another child, it's something I'd definitely be interested in. I had somebody come over to my house, this woman I was connecting with, and she brought her, I want to say the baby was like 3 or 4 months old. And she took the baby out of the car seat, like unsnapped its little onesie or whatever, and held it over my plants, and you know, and the baby,
I love that.
But I remember, like, she didn't even take a diaper off, and I was like, oh, you are the bravest woman ever. You, like, that baby was in a car seat without a diaper on. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to know more and more about this. It was so shocking to me and so funny to see how tiny a baby looks without a diaper on.
Oh my God, right? Like their bums aren't like that. Yes. I mean, I still struggle to find pants. Like we have to buy pants that are a couple sizes too short, and they're always ending up being like high waters on him. But otherwise, the butt's all saggy. You know, it's harder to find clothes for.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think too that, like, there's this feeling of like, ooh, it's like risky and brave to go out without a diaper. And it does feel that way. And the first time you do it, you're like, oh, but then if, like, you know, if they pee their pants, like, whatever, you have another outfit, you get over it. But that's a perfect example of an easy catch. Like, you get out of the car seat, like where that little baby would have been sitting with like pressure on her yoni, you know, like it kind of, well, nearly holding it for her. And same with if they're in, like if you're wearing your baby, when you release them, like it would make sense that like they need to go to the bathroom. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, I never once did my child go in the car seat.
Yeah.
It's like they just really start to learn that you are going to give them a chance to go. So why not wait and hold it? Because they have the ability to hold it.
And it's kind of like giving your child more credit, you know, like that they're smarter. They're not just like soiling themselves in their sleep, you know, like that it just could happen at any time and there's, you know, no control over it. Do you have any stats on EC and maybe how it relates to like, do children end up being potty trained at an earlier age or anything like that?
So yeah, I would love to see someone do some research on EC. Because I don't have any stats on EC. I can tell you like the flip side stats of that, like prior to disposable diapers, and probably there's some like leeway. I know like I was born in the mid 80s. I know that I was cloth diapered and I was probably like potty trained by before 2 years old. And back in like before disposable diapers, before the 60s, most children would have been potty trained by like a year and a half. That would have been more of the standard in America. And nowadays it's more like 3.5. And the reason I bring up the diapers is because like the diaper industry is truly an industry. It's $1 billion industry. And it preys on how under-resourced and stressed out and, you know, how busy we all are. But yeah, the amount of trash that we're creating with disposable diapers is staggering. You know, about 1/3 of the waste in landfills in the world are disposable diapers.
Yeah, I think I saw something that said if Christopher Columbus was cloth or like disposable diapered, like his still wouldn't have been like, you know,
correct. Yeah, every single disposable diaper that has ever been made still exists somewhere in a landfill. And they're all full of human feces as well, you know, like, so I mean, we're all worried about like methane and cows farting, but like, I don't know, maybe we should be a little bit worried about all those diapers. But I also want to say that this is not to shame anyone, because I mean, we're talking about shame for our children, but we can also talk about it with ourselves of, you know, this is really far out of our realm of reality. And, you know, if you've used disposable diapers or if you potty trained your child at 3, like you're not a bad parent. Like a lot of us don't know about this and we don't have an example of it. I mean, it's becoming more talked about, especially in like conscious mother circles, which is amazing. I think it's really great. But there's a long ways to go in society. Just like when I told people I was free birthing, they're like, what the fuck? Like, you're crazy. And then you tell them that you're going to do EC and it's kind of the same thing. They're like, oh, yeah, good idea. That'll work. You know? Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Leah? I thought I heard you.
Yeah. I was just going to toss in. So I have 2 daughters. They're 11 and 13, which is giving me a run for my money.
And fully potty trained.
Yeah, right.
We'll see. But their dad is from Germany. And we moved to Germany when my first daughter was around 9 months old. And while we were there for like a little over a year, and I worked at a birth center. So the first part of the day she was at, you know, like a little daycare school. And starting from like around that age, they just put kids on little potties when they woke up from nap time, before they went down for nap, before. Like, it's so silly because we just don't have that here. And this is, you know, I mean, I think sometimes when people think about, maybe when they think about EC or about going diaperless, it's like, more rural areas or like country where they don't have the same access to diapers or whatever. But, you know, it's just kind of built into the way that they do things there. And most children, at least in the area of Germany we were, are fully using the potty by 2.
Yeah.
And 2 is like
late, like
late.
Get in. Yeah.
And we did cloth diapers for both of our kids. Started, and we moved back before I had my second daughter. But, you know, we continued on with the potty, and again, with our second daughter, like at 6 months old, I mean, as soon as she could sit up, like put her on there, and whether or not she actually went to the bathroom. But it was like that experience. And like, so when it did happen, like she started making that connection, and I, you know, and they were both fully using potties by like 18 months, I would say. And I just remember kind of talking to people in Germany, and then also just their dad being so shocked by like 4-year-olds who still wore diapers, you know. And again, it's like not wanting to shame people, because it's just, it is what it is. But you know, it's it seems like trying to get your kid on a potty and out of a diaper at that age, like after 2, is actually so much harder than establishing like a routine before that.
Totally. I mean, imagine for 4 years of your life, you've been taught to go pee and poo in a diaper, and now you have to unlearn all of that. Like, yeah, that would be really hard. And it's confusing. Like, what message are you actually sending?
Yeah. And it's like a huge stressor on parents too. It's like,
oh my God,
you know, they have to like take time off work to like stay home and like make this whole thing happen. And I think it takes the charge out of it for people to learn that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Because the idea of just like, you know, getting rid of all the diapers and just committing to this fully, it's like, that doesn't seem realistic for anyone's life. But if it could just be like, you teach them that you go in the diaper or on the potty, like it's an either or thing, and they grow up knowing that, it just makes the switch easier.
And children are communicating with us, babies are communicating with us from day one. And even if we're just gonna listen to just a few bits and pieces and give them that opportunity, then they know that you're listening. Whereas like 4 years down the line, they will have learned to stop communicating to you because you're not listening. So, you know, that's why it's in the name. It's a communication.
Like you're teaching them to ignore their body's signals.
Oh, yes. And how big of a problem is that? Like, I mean, even when you go to school, you have to ask, like, can I go to the bathroom? Oftentimes it's like, no, wait 20 minutes. Or, and I, you know, even as a fully grown adult now, like, I don't always know when I'm hungry and full. Like, all of us are so messed up because we've been told to, not listen to ourselves and to outsource our intuition to like higher ups, you know, not ourselves.
And follow the schedule.
Right.
Noon is when you eat. This time is when you eat, you know?
Yeah. You can go pee at this time. You get to eat at this time. You have to eat all of this food, regardless if you're hungry, whatever. So I think that's what's so cool about EC is it really it really just opens things up, and you can start to look at how you communicate and treat all of these like necessary bodily functions of eating and going to the bathroom for yourself, like not just for your child, but for yourself, which can be very powerful.
It seems like part of a general awareness, like what you brought up, you know, it just makes me think about formula and just this idea of marketing something, you know, just the disposable diapers. And I think probably it sounds like chronologically a similar timeline for when disposable diapers started becoming more mainstream, and then formula kind of being pushed on. I mean, there are specific groups of women that it was pushed on more, but this idea of like, oh, you need this thing that you need to pay for when there's a free source. And on the theme of not being black and white, like obviously as midwives, we promote breastfeeding, and I assume it's going to go great and normal.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to keep my hands off the process other than support. But sometimes babies need a little formula, and sometimes disposable diapers work great,
Totally. I use disposables.
right. But just in that vein of like, I don't know, not to get all like it goes to the top, but
do it.
I think when you have an awareness about one thing around that, it just kind of opens up your mind to other things, like how much people end up spending on diapers when they like a mixing bowl.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it too, like they're taking all the things that used to be free, like women in supporting women in birth and breastfeeding and just like emptying your bowels, and they turned it into a monopoly. Like we send them all to the hospital, we give them this formula that they pay for, and then they buy diapers to poop it. It's like, how can we make money off of things that are actually completely free?
Yeah. And convincing people that
they need it,
that they are incapable of doing it themselves.
You're
not qualified.
That's right. Well, I mean, you can think about too, like what's happened since the 60s, like how busier our lives all are as well. So, I want to say like EC is easy. It is, and you can do the easy catches, but to do the observation time and to like really, really go for it, you I don't know what I'm going to say here. You have to set up your life in a certain way that isn't fully a part of the capitalistic, patriarchal like machine. Like you've got to bring yourself out.
I can hear my friend yelling capitalism in my ear right now, because like they keep you so busy that you just don't have time for any of that.
That's right.
You pay more money to like make it all easier for you.
Correct. Yeah. And again, like
but then it's not easier. Going to the hospital is not easier. Formula and washing bottles is not easier, and diapering and potty training, at a later age sounds like it's not easier.
Yeah. I mean, I stopped cleaning poopy diapers at like 5 months old. Like legitimately.
Everyone just like started Googling, who's listening. Communication.
That's it. Yeah, like let me tell you like what is possible, because he was out of he didn't poop in diapers after 5 months, because that it does get really clear. And I feel like maybe you can have a few misses in there. I'm going to say, like, especially when baby starts eating solids and things get a little bit more like one poo a day, like it's so easy. My son was out of nighttime diapers at about 11 months, and he probably could have been out of them sooner, but we were kind of like scared, like, is this even fucking possible? Like, and like, has he wet the bed before? Yes. Like he has. I'm not to be full transparent. But that, I can count on one hand how many times that's happened in the last year. He's 2.5, and he, clearly tells us when he needs to go potty. And this is from us being like committed to it, but also we use diapers. We use disposables like his whole first month because someone gave them to me. Like, I feel like you always end up getting given disposable diapers because no one knows what to give a mom. So like, we use cloth diapers too. I'm glad you mentioned cloth, because I think it is a lot more common in other countries to use cloth diapers. And they go really well with EC because it gives your child more feedback as to when they're wet. Because that's the thing too about disposables, is they're all full of toxic materials that like wick away so that your child doesn't feel that they're wet. So again, it's them basically disassociating from their body of like, you can't actually feel that you've soiled yourself. So they're toxic on your baby, and then they're toxic when they go in the landfill. I just feel like I'm rambling. I don't remember what I'm saying.
No, it's fine. You were just bragging about how
Oh yes, how wonderful it is.
Diapers and
Yeah, like it's, and that's not to say that we didn't have potty pauses, which is a term we use when like things get hard. When your baby like just does not want to be held in the position. And it'll often go with like they've just learned how to stand up, or they're cutting a tooth, and so there'll be times where it will be difficult and you will start missing everything. But if you still have this like baseline understanding that your child doesn't want to shit themselves and sit in it, and that you can just keep offering. So there's ups and downs, but if you just like stay committed, like that's what's possible.
It seems like it's like a baseline ability to deal with like human stuff, like sounded simple the way I said that, I guess, but like like baby poop and things like that. Like I feel like families who choose more alternative birth choices, like home birth, which is what Sophie and I do, like they're just a little more like you're choosing to be able to experience birth completely, and that means that you poop on yourself and other people, and you are loud maybe, and you're just comfortable with like the humanness of birth and the messiness. So it kind of goes hand in hand, maybe, that like people who choose that also are like, okay, well, my baby just crapped all over me, okay, that happens. And but our culture is so afraid of like bodily functions. And when I was a doula, before I was a midwife in the hospital, that was always a thing of like, what if I poop on myself, or what if I, and it's like,
you're like, when you poop on yourself, you mean? Like,
we'll get excited because
yeah, baby's coming. That's right.
Yeah, I remember at my birth with my son, I saw somebody walk by with a fishnet. I was in the pool, and I remember thinking like, oh, thank God, I'm almost done. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, this was so great. Thank you so much. If anybody is like wanting to reach out to you, is there any contact information you'd like to leave, or any resources that we can include in show notes?
I am like decidedly not really on the internet. I'm kind of hard to like find. You can email me because I do support women in any kind of stage of their life and what they need. So yeah, I'll leave my email.
Okay.
Should I say my email?
You can say it, and then we'll include it in the show notes.
Yeah, cool. So it's edotdavis@gmail.com. But yeah, I'm really active in the Free Birth Society membership. That's kind of like my little corner of the internet. And yeah, I love that network of women. They connect me to more amazing women. So that's what I love about it.
We totally wrap up. So like when you say you support women, like do you specifically EC stuff? Like if a family reached out to you, like are you available for like consultation?
Yeah.
Do you do person stuff? Like what kind of is your
so when I was in Australia, I used to do more in person. I would run these workshops, actually EC workshops for I'd say for parents, but it's for anyone. It's for caretakers, it's for nannies, it's it's for anyone. And then now that I've been living in Oregon and COVID is such a thing, mainly I'm on Zoom. So I work with women in their pre and postpartum times, and I've only attended my own birth, but I'm on call soon, which is very exciting to attend a birth. I know. It's very exciting. I mean, we'll see. But
or just for fun, or
sorry, say again.
Are you a birth keeper, or are you just going
as a birth keeper? Cool. So the way that Sophie and I know each other is from RBK school.
Okay.
Because we were actually I don't know if we were in the same group, but we were in the same
I think we were like the little cohort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but my life has changed.
For anyone who's pregnant and looking for that support. Can you say again the area that you live in?
Yeah, so that I'm about to move in a month.
Oh,
So,
never mind.
This is why I'm like I don't really put it out there too much until we're settled. So we're moving to North Carolina in March, and but yeah, we're, Zoom exists.
Yes.
And I do love to like work with parents about EC and all the ways that can like tie into conscious parenting, because it all goes together.
Great. Yeah. Well, we have some last questions that we like to ask. So I can start. If your belly button had a superpower, like you push it and something happens, and it could be anything, what would it be?
Well, yeah, I'd want to fly. So yeah, it'd be my like push to fly button.
Yeah. So are you talking like you sprout wings, or like Peter Pan style, or?
Yeah, more Peter Pan style. Yeah. There's like some magic dust involved,
Trying to get to a birth in San Francisco during rush hour traffic, that sounds amazing.
Right? But that's actually like, I'm thinking logistically, it would actually really help my life.
I'm just trying to picture you, Leah, like you'd have to have like a midwifery backpack or something, like
a duffel that goes with you.
You with like your bags on your shoulder. That just wouldn't work with flying very well.
Like Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Cool. Well, so another question that we ask everybody, which feels very pertinent to me in my life because I have preteens and teenagers. If you could go back in time and give a piece of advice to your teenage self, your young woman self, what would it be?
Oh, yeah. That's a loaded question. Hey.
Flying. Stuff.
I think I would tell myself that there are a million different ways to look and feel like a woman. I thank God I wasn't born around now, like with all of the gender confusion that happens. I was so late to the game in understanding how amazing it is to be a woman, and that I can be myself and be a woman.
In how many ways?
I don't know if that fully makes sense, but that would have made sense to little Erica.
Yeah, that it doesn't have to be in this like stereotypical box, it can
and I mean, I still have to remind myself of that now, going into women's circles and stuff. Like, I'm not a real like fluffy flowy sort of woman, and I have to remind myself that I can be fully myself and still
Well, thank you for being willing to come on our show and
thank
chat.
you. I had fun.
Really excited for everyone to get this information. I think it's going to take the charge out of like the all or nothing feeling that I think most people feel like they have to commit to.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can make it work for you. And that's
Yeah, great. Well, thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA. Sophia at sophiabirth.com.
And me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always, stay wild.